Daniel woke up on a Saturday morning that felt wrong before he even opened his eyes. Not wrong like a bad dream, wrong like a missing piece. He checked his phone. 23 unread messages, a missed call from his sister. A photo his coworker had sent him, the two of them at a bar, laughing, drinks in hand. The timestamp read, Friday, 9:47 p.m. He didn't remember being at a bar. He scrolled further. A receipt from a restaurant forwarded from his bank's fraud alert, $84 Friday, 7:12 p.m. A dinner he didn't remember ordering. A text thread with his sister, an entire conversation about their mother's birthday, sent and received in his own voice, his own words, Friday, 2:30 p.m. He remembered none of it. At first he laughed it off. Maybe he'd had too much to drink. Maybe it was one of those nights that blur. Everyone's had one, but the more he looked, the less it fit. He hadn't just forgotten details. He'd forgotten the entire day. 12, 13 hours, gone, not blurry, not foggy, simply absent, like a chapter torn out of a book so cleanly you'd never know a page was missing. He called his coworker, Marcus, who'd sent the bar photo. Marcus laughed. Dude, you were fine. A little quiet maybe, but fine. Why? Daniel didn't tell him the truth. He just said he'd had a rough night's sleep. Then he pulled up the last thing on his list, a CCTV request he apparently submitted to his apartment building's front desk. Friday, 11:58 p.m., hours after the dinner, asking to review footage of the lobby. He didn't remember requesting it. He didn't remember why Friday night Daniel would have wanted to see himself walk through his own front door. He went down anyway. The building manager, mildly annoyed at the second request in 2 days, pulled the footage up on a monitor at the front desk. There he was, Friday night, walking in at 12:03 a.m., alone. But his face, his actual expression, was wrong. Not drunk, not tired. Calm in a way Daniel didn't recognize on himself. He watched his own body pause at the elevator, turn, and look directly into the camera. Not startled, not confused, just aware. Like he knew exactly what he was doing and exactly who might watch this later. Then, on screen, Friday, Daniel mouthed something. Slow, deliberate. The manager didn't notice, but Daniel read his own lips clearly, 3 times over, rewinding it again and again. Don't look for me. He went back to his apartment, shaking, more confused than scared, until his phone buzzed. One new message. Unknown number. Don't try to remember. He typed back immediately. Who is this? What happened Friday? No reply. He tried calling the number, but disconnected. He searched it. Nothing, no name, no trace. He sat with his laptop open for hours, cross-referencing every fragment. The bar, the dinner, the text to his sister, the CCTV request. Piecing together a day he'd apparently lived fully, coherently, deliberately, and remembered none of. 2 days later, his sister called, worried. She said their mother's birthday plans, the ones Daniel had texted her about on Friday, were plans she'd never actually agreed to. In fact, she said Daniel's texts had asked her a strange question buried in the middle of the birthday small talk. Whether their family had ever used a storage unit outside of town, one their late father had kept, one nobody had mentioned in over a decade. Daniel didn't remember the storage unit, but he remembered vaguely a name, one he hadn't thought about in years, surfacing somewhere in the back of his mind like it had been placed there, not recalled. He drove out that weekend, found the unit still under his father's name, unopened since his father's death, paid the overdue balance in cash, again something Friday. Daniel had apparently already started, based on a partial payment stub dated, of course, that same Friday. Inside, boxes of paperwork, old letters, and one small locked metal box that didn't match anything else in the unit. Newer, unweathered, deliberately placed. He never told anyone what was inside it. But 3 days later, he deleted every account he had, social media, banking apps, even his number. Moved out of his apartment within the month. His sister said he seemed lighter afterward, calmer, almost like himself again, but different, like someone who'd finally put something down. She never brought up the storage unit again. He never brought up Friday. The last text from the unknown number is still on his old phone, the one he kept, buried in a drawer, never turned back on. He never found out who sent it, but whoever it was, they were right. He never did remember Friday.